Hopefulness, day 29. Oh, wow. Quite a bit more than I expected that time around. I can smell the tanginess. Alright. So, sourdough starter is doing its thing. I'm not gonna do anything with it until later today. I gotta keep feeding it every day. Cut a good chunk of it out. Put in a good chunk of flour and the like. So, yeah. Hopefully, because like the last one, the place that I saw that had that sort of recipe, if you will, even mentioned that this would be kind of a thing. Hold on a second. In that, like the first day it might not be too active. And on the next day it might be quite a bit more active. But they're also saying like cut it in half and then add like 1/13 water and flour. And I'm like, I don't know if that is gonna be wise, because I mean I'm getting pretty full. Now I can't remember if they said 2 quart or 1 quart. I don't know. We'll see. Worst case scenario, whatever. So I'm gonna dump all of this in here. Might even reuse that bowl. I mean, why not? Makes sense. And then I might as well use this bad boy. I still need to do some dishes and stuff. I gotta take got one more left. So probably tomorrow I'll go to the pharmacy. That way, you know, I can take care of it. I'm gonna use this big old spoon. I don't really use this much because like it started cracking at the tip, and then it kind of has like a hairline. So I'm not gonna use it for like cooking more than for, you know, since most is just gonna be kind of like scooping stuff to shit out. Ah, shit. Yeah, we'll clean these floors soon. Otherwise, it's just gonna end up with just messy ass fucking floor, and then I'm gonna end up just as bad as it used to be, and or other people who I've complained about in the past. So, I mean, obviously, the best thing to do is clean up immediately, but that doesn't necessarily take care of everything. I mean, it depends on how you consider cleaning up immediately, of course. You know, the first thing you do after, you know, doling out all your foodstuffs is literally clean the room. You know. Okay. Sure. That makes sense. It's got plenty of seasonings in it, because the beef has its own seasoning in it, and then the pasta sauce has its own seasoning in it too, so we're gonna be good. It's more doom scrolling, of course, because, I mean, what else is there to do? I think that's one of the reasons why I started playing EverQuest as much as I did. It's because so much stupid shit's going on. And I think what I'm going to do is, with regards to job searches, I'm just going on Indeed and find anything that even remotely seems like something I might do and apply for it, as long as it pays well. Because, and it's not so much about, you know, job satisfaction or anything like that. It's about the fact that employers don't care. Why should I? And I'm going to keep my cover letter the same for all of them, which is, you know, it's, I think it's PDF, just like my resume is. And it says in giant text that fills up the whole damn page, because I saw this on the internet and I'm like, you know what, fuck it. And it says, I would rather eat a whole bus tire than write a cover letter. And that is the cover letter that I'm going to be sending to people. I grow tired of how this world works. It needs to change. And in order for it to change, individuals gotta make some sacrifices sometimes. And I figure if someone looks at that cover letter and says, the hell is this person? And then they actually do manage to take a moment to look at my resume, well then, they might figure some shit out. They might make some assessments. I don't know. Hell, they may even just judge me and want to throw me out. But if they do manage to look at my resume, hey, maybe I'll get the job. Who knows? I don't know. But they're going to get an idea of who I am per that cover letter, because I'm actually doing that as my cover letter. This isn't a bluff. I've already done it. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of rejections, which is why I'm changing my strategy. If I know I'm going to be getting a lot of rejections, well, I got to start shotgunning. I got to load up that bird shot, saw off the end of my shotgun, spread. Maybe I'll get a kill. I don't know. You know, when the world is what it is, and there's little change you can do to make it better, sometimes the only thing you can do is whatever change you can to make your world better. And I know that sounds really selfish. But again, it's the triage situation again. Yeah. If you can't take care of yourself, can you take care of anybody? I don't think so. So, I'm going to take some risks to try to take care of myself. You know the whole saying, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness? I mean, you know, one could say that's exactly what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. I don't want to ask for permission. I just want to take over this country. And then when I fail, or if I fail, then I will ask for forgiveness. Fuck that. That's sociopathic thinking. Instead, just show your true colors. Just do what you would normally do. I think that serves people better. I think the truth, if you want to ask for permission, ask for permission. If you're the kind of person who is a piece of shit, show your piece of shit self. Why not? Either people are going to reward you or they're not. Be you. Be who you are. You know, just like those dudes on Snake Island after, you know, titled the video. Russian warship, go fuck yourselves. Show your true colors. In a lot of ways, you could say that a better way to look at the world is whether or not everything is life or death. Now, I'm not saying this is necessarily the best way of going about it. But when you look at life, when you look at it, almost everything being life or death, when you approach things that way, chances are you're going to get more done. And you could say, well, I could just die today, so I might as well do what I want to do. But you could also live. You could live to be you. You could live to be the person you've always wanted to be, the person other people wanted you to be. And funny enough, it's very much like Shakespeare. It's one of the things that my my Shakespeare professor / director, she was my first acting teacher, and then she started directing me in Romeo and Juliet because she basically just kept begging me to audition. And I forgot how spicy I had this set up. And because there's actual spice, like paprika and not so much paprika, but the cayenne pepper that's also in the beef. Anyway, the one thing she would regularly tell us about Shakespeare is that all the characters, everything that they were dealing with, everything that they were going through, because of the nature of everything that is happening in the story, is that it's life and death. Now, obviously, many of these decisions were made poorly because of that. But that's kind of the nature of the whole thing, too. So, with the whole, tragic ending and all that crap. But the actions of others trying to stop this potential thing was also the knowledge of life or death. It was like, these situations could be very, very bad. We need to act on them in some way or another to stop this, to either stop someone from dying or to get someone dead, or whatever. I mean, that's kind of like the nature of Shakespeare throughout. I said, it's life or death. And I think that if one approaches life that way, they'll take more action. I think it's why you hear especially a lot of older people who say they don't fear death. And so because of it, they do things, they take all kinds of risks. I think that's kind of the approach they're going for. It's not so much that they don't fear death, it's that it's inevitable anyway. So you might as well just do whatever, which is freeing. That's why, tell people you love them or whatever, tell people you fucking hate them. It doesn't matter. Kill people with kindness, if you will. You don't have to tell them you hate them. You don't have to deal with them. I think that's why there are some people out there who you might see and you're like, how does this person live? How are they able to do what they do, to go about doing, living the life that they live? I think it's because they approach it that way. They may not know that. They may not think about it, logically in that sense. With, going about life with reckless abandon, not giving two shits, having no real sense of ego. It makes sense. It really does. It makes a lot of sense. And I know part of why I'm saying all of this is because I'm justifying my own actions. I'm aware of that. I am cognizant of my actions. Because I have, if you will, paralyzing levels of self-awareness. So maybe I need to do the opposite. And only every now and then, take a step back and be like, whoa, hold on a second. I don't know. I mean, you have people who are in Ukraine right now who, there's this couple that just got married and literally, their honeymoon, they're going and fucking arming up. I mean, I guess the least I could do is apply for a well-paying job with a stupid-ass cover letter to let people know how I really feel. May not even get to that point. They may not read it. What if I know? One of the problems I've had in life when it comes to advice from others is that their advice is always reluctant. They are in competition with you. They want what you want but they've already have it. Or if they don't have what you have, or if neither of you have anything, one, people don't like to say, I don't know. A lot of people think if they sound like they have the world figured out, they can feel safer. Because if you acknowledge your lack of ability, if you acknowledge your lack of understanding, people often are afraid that they will be rejected. That they'll be seen as weak. And often, it's because that's precisely what they would do. We project a lot about ourselves onto others. We all do. I do it. I don't like it. It's a form of self-preservation. It's a defense mechanism. And while it's pretty obvious I don't have a whole lot of friends, it seems though I have a pretty reasonable amount of respect from people. I think. I don't know. I don't think anybody fears me. I hope they don't. I don't have any reason. There's no reason for people to fear me. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Fear comes from power, generally speaking. And power comes from others. No one has power. Power is given to them. Now, it's often harder to if you will, retract it when people are fearful of you. As nobody fears you, if nobody gives you power, you're powerless. If nobody listens to you, nobody cares what you say, nobody acts on your words, you have no power. But if they do, then you have the power. And if they fear you, that's just another form of power. A country is only as powerful as the people who let it be. And often, its citizens. That's why propaganda is important. That's why manipulation, information, and what people see is important. Individuals. If you got something worth fighting for, awesome. If you don't, well, it's going to be harder. That part I know. Going back to like the whole advice and job stuff, that's part of it. If you have something to fight for, then you might not be willing to give other people information. But if something you're fighting for is greater than yourself, it seems to be a lot easier to give out that advice. It seems to be my approach anyway, whenever I can. I don't try to shut people down generally. I mean, if I'm having a normal everyday conversation, I don't. If I'm on the internet, then, you know, it's all monologues. Everything is a monologue. Every comment is a monologue. And even if you're having a back and forth, it's still not really a dialogue. There are so many pieces that are missing. Started looking good. Smells interesting. Yeah, fuck it. Shotgun method. And I'm going to keep that cover letter the way it is. Because, and I'm going to let my, my LinkedIn profile is what it is. It's not exactly the same as my Indeed setup is. But it has, all the ratings on stuff and then, association. So if they look at my LinkedIn profile after looking at my resume and they're like, what the hell's this dude on about? Then they'll know. And then they can make the decision that way. In all honesty, I would say that is a better way of going than the way that I've been doing it. Because the nothing really matters, who gives a fuck mentality of, well, either it'll happen or it won't. It's either life or it's death. And I mean, it's not like I'm, saying life or death that if I don't get this, I'm going to die. It's in approaching things as if they are life and death. And I'm still not really sure how I'm trying to word that. Well, okay, it's important, but it's literally not the only thing. It's other stuff. If you approach every job, every single job, see, now I feel like I have to backtrack to really try to break open the thoughts that I have about this. So, I guess you could say what I'm trying to say is that every action I take is important. No matter what they are. In the end, we're all going to die. But to take it back to Shakespeare, the reason why everything was treated within as if it was life or death is because that's how it was. But in doing so, they made really hard decisions. And then they stuck with them. And I think that's where I was getting at. It's that you just do things and stick with them. Even if it might seem like a bad idea. Because the decision itself isn't what's important. It's the end goal. Whatever that end goal is. But that end goal needs to be just as important as living or dying. It's not so much the fear of death. It needs to be as important as living or dying. And I think that's the reason why it's hard for me to sort of break into this and make sense of it all, is because I've never really felt like being alive was important. And now it seems like I'm trying to do that. I don't know why. Maybe I'll find out in the process. Perhaps that's where I was going with the life or death. Is that the choice of being alive needs to be one of importance. And that the choices that lead to such an outcome need to be treated just as important. Maybe. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Really. Like, what adult really knows what they're doing in life? Very few, if any. We're all idiots. We're all flying by the seat of our fucking pants. Some of us are just doing it better. And my guess is that they're just making important choices. It goes back to the acting thing and everything. To be a good actor, you basically have to, well, I can't remember the exact phrasing. It's in an old notebook in the storage somewhere, but there are no good people in plays and television shows and the like. And the reason why is because good people, the everyday person, that we consider good, that is. Let's at least establish that. Doesn't react. They don't usually say what's on their mind. They don't usually respond in kind or whatever. They usually just kind of let things, they just kind of go by their day. They don't bring attention to themselves. That's what the everyday good person does. Whereas a character in a movie or a play or a TV show goes beyond. They break past our sort of social sensibilities, our social contract, if you will. I can't remember the damn name. I think it's called Falling Down. Michael Douglas is having a shitty ass fucking day. I think his car breaks down or something. I've seen the film. I heard about it and I was like, holy shit, I gotta watch this. He goes into like a McDonald's type place. He orders something, and I don't know if they fuck it up or something along those lines, but he goes out to his car. His car isn't totally fucked. He grabs an Uzi and then like walks in on the fucking place and starts losing his shit. Now, he's not like going all kinds of crazy and shit, but I mean, a dude walking in because something's wrong with his order with a fucking Uzi in hand is losing one's shit. But he's being super calm and polite the whole time. Normal good people don't do that. That is a bad person behavior. But it makes for interesting conflict. We make choices in life. When you're an actor, you have to decide what kind of choices your character is making in order to reach the objectives that they're going for. And the obstacles that are in their way, what choices are they making to overcome those obstacles? What relationships are they trying to consider in order to determine what choices to make, etc., etc., etc. The characters, vast majority of them, TV, movies, plays, etc., aren't good people. They're selfish. That's the extreme version. You don't want to go that far. But you don't want to be so passive that you're basically just letting life sweep you along and you have to suffer through it. You got to make some decisions that at least get you in front of the fucking giant ass broom of life. Because if all you're doing is getting swept along, your life is not up to you. It's up to other things. And while in the end, you don't get to decide the fact that there is an end, because you might be able to get to decide how it ends, but you don't get to decide the fact that there is an end. That has been made. That is everybody's destiny. There is no true destiny other than death. But if you can at least attempt to enjoy it, why not? And even if enjoyment just means doing something different, making choices that are otherwise, maybe against one's principles, etc. Obviously, let's try not to hurt anybody in the process, but it's evolution, it's adaptation, survival. It's thriving. And it's the first time I think I've ever really been able to think about myself and life in this way. This last couple of months have been paramount in coming to this conclusion. In the end, I don't know what's going to happen. And right now, I'm not exactly excited. But maybe in the coming days, I will be. I don't know. Have fun.